Hello, everyone. It's James Strong. This is the sub-project for SIG-Networking Ingress NGINX. It is June 23rd, and as always, this is a CNCF meeting. So that means it is under the COC guidelines, which essentially means be kind to each other. If you have any issues, please report those to myself or Ricardo. And if you have problems with us, make sure to report those to the CNCF. So thank you, everyone, for joining today. And I see that we've got one new folk, singular, joining us today. Ishan, did I pronounce that correctly? Do you want to introduce yourself for the group? And if not, that's fine. We can just move on.
Hi, this is Ehsan. The pronunciation is Ehsan. I'm the senior C++ software engineer, and as a hobby, I'm also a maintainer of OpenTelemetry, CPP. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, like I said previously, thank you for the help on that, and we'll definitely make sure we discuss that today while we have you on the call. Anyone else wants to introduce themselves? No? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the doc, and we can go ahead and get started discussing. I think it's fair that we do spend the 15 minutes on triaging issues, since we didn't last meeting, before we go into the topics we want to discuss. Or do you think we should just go right into I know we've got two big things that we want to discuss, the survey and the stabilization project. So should we just go straight into the stabilization stuff?
Yeah,
I think we can go ahead.
Yeah, that will be good, because we need to save time for the telemetry.
Okay. Well, as we talked about last week, I wanted to make sure that we discuss the stabilization project and the document that we put together. Hopefully everyone had a chance to read it. If not, we've got it here on the screen. The big thing that I wanted to talk about was the timeline. I think we probably should put a timeline on this. We do discuss that we don't have a timeline yet, but as a helper for folks to understand where we're at, what we're trying to accomplish as well. One of the things I want to do is make sure we have ticket items for each one of these. I've created 3 new labels: stabilization, release, and security. And I've opened up a new project to track all of these. So if you have things that you know that you're working on, that we're working towards on the things that we discuss here in the stabilization bits, please add those 3 labels, and add them to the project. So right now, we've got a few things, right? So I know one of the first things, right, is we put together the survey that we shared and discussed in the channel. I've added a couple of I've added the OpenTelemetry bit, because I know that's part of the stabilization stuff we've talked about. But I've went through and just started adding today some of the other ones. So again, you all should have access to the project and be able to assign issues and PRs to the project and the labels. So again, it's just, I want to make sure that if we're telling folks that we're going to put a pause on accepting feature requests, we should show them the work that we're doing and just making it available to the community. So was there any questions about the document? The only thing, like I said, is the timeline that I'd like to, if we want to say 6 months and hold ourselves to that timeline, or is there anything else in the document that we should call out before we send this out to the dev mailing list?
Yeah, and just to be clear, I will show this as well on SIG-Network meeting, which happens just after hours here. I already spoke with SIG-Network chairs and some other folks that are tied with this project, like Rob Scott and even Alejandro, which was the previous maintainer, to see what they think about that. And it was well accepted, the idea of us actually freezing the features and working on the bug fixes. Okay, so it's something that at least the maintainers of Kubernetes and other folks they support. The only thing right now is we will need to be strict with our decision. So if we say let's go to this, we cannot open exception to any feature, any other thing, and really try to use that time in our favor to make this stabilization code, right? But yeah, and I think it's actually fine to announce that. I'm just not sure about the timeline. When we want to announce that, James? Do we want to announce with the survey after later?
Yeah, that's the thing, is that one of the things that we call out here is that we want to put this out there, and then we want to talk about the progress at the KubeCon EU or KubeCon NA and a maintainer track. And I know that's not 6 months, but again, we want to, that's what, October, I think. So yeah, it's difficult to say, well, hey, we're going to stop doing PRs or feature request PRs, but not give a timeline on when we're going to start doing that again. That's the thing I'm struggling with.
Yeah, go ahead, Lon.
I was just going to say tentatively 4 months, and then extensible with a note saying if we are not done, then we extend.
I mean, October is about 5 months, and it's towards the end of the year. So I think if we say 6 months, we'll have something to talk about on the maintainer track about where we're at. So we say in June, we said we were going to stop this, and this is where we're at with the project, the stabilization bits. So I think 6 months, now that I'm talking out loud about it and understanding when October is.
6 months works because anyway, activity kind of slows down around Christmas, right? So November, December, and New Year's. So 6 months seems fine. The thing is, so Ricardo, you're saying no exceptions, but there are things like OpenTelemetry and the other modules, sidecar thing. So we have to make a note in this announcement that those kind of things, those kind of components are not actually new feature, but they are like.
Yeah. So anything that we can consider cleanup can actually be a stabilization path, right? So when we say we are doing the OpenTelemetry thing, I'm actually looking into doing the OpenTelemetry thing to deprecate the Zipkin and the Jagger and all of the modules in favor of the OpenTelemetry thing being decoupled from the core NGINX container, as an example, right? So I think, yeah, let me rephrase that. I think that it's not an exception in this case, but we will need to discuss instead of just accept PRs and say, yeah, this is doable or not. So I would rather prefer like bringing this to the discussion and figuring out why it's important to have the OpenTelemetry thing as part of this stabilization code, instead of just saying, no, we are not going to do that because we are in the middle of the stabilization time period, right? So I think what I don't want to do is say like, hey, we are in the middle of this feature, something that we've been implementing and we've been waiting for someone to review, and now you are saying that you are putting a feature freeze. So cannot you just merge this before you put the feature freeze? And yeah, I don't want to merge anything on a rush just because we are gonna add some feature freeze, right? So I think that as an example, the OpenTelemetry thing can be added to the stable release. We can call it like a stable release in 6 months that we are gonna have with a bunch of cleanups, and I expect that that OpenTelemetry thing to be part of the cleanup. On the other hand, I was a bit worried when I was working, as an example, on the OpenTelemetry thing. I've been trying by myself, and I've seen that even like the compilation time of the OpenTelemetry thing, it's like bigger than the Jagger one, as an example. So I don't want to stop that, but I think we need to have be really diligent on that, right? So look into what we are doing, what's the value of doing that, and if any of the PRs, they bring value to the stabilization that we want, right?
that's why I added this caveat here at the end, right? If there's anything you think should be part of this effort, please add the labels and projects so we can discuss them in community calls.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure that if folks think that it needs to be there, they can add it to the board and we can discuss it during these meetings. So, yeah. So, okay. So we agree on the 6 months. We agree on if anyone from the community thinks there's something, a PR that needs to be there, they can add these labels. The other thing that I was going to add too is on the feature request template, I'm going to add a link to this discussion so that they can see this and just add a note saying, hey, we're doing the feature freeze. Here's our justification. So please consider that when you're adding a feature to it. So that should help as well. Okay. So timeline wise,
We also need to make a note about current PRs that are kind of ready for review. So the ones that are still in the making, that is fine. But there are at least the 4 or 5 that are done. They're just waiting for review and approval. So it's like we put a note here, then we discuss it whenever opportunity presents.
yeah, so that was going to be one of the things I wanted to discuss and figure out how we track that out, and ones that we know that are waiting on us that are almost at the finish line. So
I
yeah,
mean, we don't need to make a decision or a plan right now. Just put a note and then we'll deal with it either in future meetings or on asynchronously on Slack.
yeah, I think, I mean, we'll keep the triaging and looking through the issues, and as we see fit, we'll just add them. So that's fine. Okay.
Okay.
So Ricardo's going to talk about this at SIG Networking. We don't have the survey out yet, which is fine. We'll add that to the dev mailing list once we have that out. So we'll probably send this out today, you think, Ricardo?
Yeah, I think that we can announce in Signet, and then I will I will make sure that they understand the value of this, and saying that we wanna announce that probably today, and unless someone wants to discuss something more about that during SIG-Network meeting, but I don't want to spend more than 5 minutes discussing that. So if everything goes fine, I will just page you and say, hey James, you are our public relations person. Just send the email, because people keep ignoring me on the emails.
Gotcha. Also, I found out that there is, I don't know if anyone else has been paying attention. I found out yesterday talking with Eddie from SIG-CLI that there is a new dev mailing list. So it's not Kubernetes dev anymore. That's been archived. So that was.
We can send to all of them.
Yeah, I just send it to all of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got time today too. So I'll join the SIG networking meeting as well. Anyway, we've discussed that, I think, enough. So here's the board. If you've got anything, I've added several things. Anything that had the CVE stuff that's still open, I've added to the security bits, the data plane control splits, some of the other issues that I found from our dependency management things. So I've got the Jaeger open tracing. I've also opened up an issue to get dev stats for us to try to understand where we're at from a community perspective. Any of the other stuff that had CVs and attackers and bugs that I think were there. Here's the 124 issue. So this is probably, would you say this is in progress, Gentile?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay. Awesome. So I think that's the ask. I don't know if we should spend time on going through issues now. Do you think that would be helpful, folks, to just go through and start labeling issues?
Yeah, I think.
Too much time.
Yeah. Go ahead, Long.
I was just saying it'll take too much time. I think we should
Okay.
close on the open telemetry plan. Then if time is left, then we do triaging.
Gotcha. That's fair. So we've discussed that. We've discussed the draft. I'll go through and make sure. I don't think we have something to track this one. We need an issue to track these. I'll go through these. So I'll go through and make sure that we've got issues on the project to track this. So I'll put those at the. Okay. Cool. That one still needs one. Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's go ahead and discuss the open telemetry bit, because maybe we can help with my confusion on it, and we can just work through that. So let's go ahead and do we have that up, or is it just could just go to the open PRs? This one, I think this is the one. Yeah.
So there is two of them. This one is to fix the mess that I created by changing stuff in the base image. We messed with the entry point, and we also put a variable there, entry library path. So reverting that. This one is just to revert that. But the bulk of the work is actually in 8622.
Yeah, my question with removing, so this was new, this wasn't there before.
So months ago it wasn't there. Then we put it in, working with Ehsan, thinking that that will help. It does help, but in a different way. What now, we had a meeting with the creator of this PR and Ehsan, and we figured out that if we mess with the base image, then we can't keep it sane. Like for every kind of new module that we'll add, new sidecar, we'll have to again come back and change here. So completely go back to the way the base image was before we started messing with OpenTelemetry.
Gotcha. Okay, so there was a specific fix for just open telemetry, but that causes issues with other modules. And we don't want to have to keep, because we know how difficult it is to change the NGINX base image. Okay.
Right. Right.
All right. Okay.
And to be really honest, one thing that I was expecting from this telemetry stuff is that we can reuse it in other modules as well, right? So at least like before dropping mod security, at least we can migrate mod security to something to the same approach. So we don't spend too much time recompiling the base image every time we want to change something, and
Right.
And we can keep them separated, even the size of the images. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Right.
Sounds good to me. Does
So
anybody else?
tuning that compile time and reducing the size is not been kind of completely reviewed, but there is a process very well discussed with Ehsan and with this, the guy who put this PR, Daniel. So now we know exactly if we add a new module, where we need to work with it. We just need to add the library path for that module in the container image. Sorry, the controller image, and we don't have to in future change anything in the base image for that kind of work.
Okay. Gentile, you went off mute. Did you have something you wanted to add?
This should be a temporary image.
Say that again, Jinta.
This should just be a temporary image, right? We will not use it in production.
No, we will. So this basic, so there are two PRs. This PR that is on the screen is just to fix or revert the changes we made to the base image. So base image will go back to how it was months before. Okay, so this will be permanent fix.
Okay.
Okay.
And then there is 8622 under PR, which is specific to the compile and enabling. And then there is a lot of work there.
This is the one that does the split and creates the sidecar for us.
Right. But just FYI, this 8622 is a problem because the contributor Daniel Tobrek username, he worked on this on his fork, but in the main branch. So he had issues like having to. So he created now this change to the base image and all that. So he had that problem of working with this main branch. So right now it's there, but he will close this and move the changes that are proposed here into a new PR. So that will happen later. But for all practical purpose, we can look at what's happening here, because it's a I mean the action item here is that there is some stuff that he knows and he's certain about, and Ehsan also talked about it because Ehsan is a contributor to OpenTelemetry. So the compile thing and the enabling component is now working. So we tested that and all that. But then Daniel, or username Tobrek here, among the 13 files he's changing here, he's also changing a bunch of Go files. So he explained that he copied all of this, the changes to Go files, from the open tracing module,
Okay.
and he doesn't have any idea about how to what these Go files do.
Okay, so let's separate this in two steps. Okay, so the first one is to get the OpenTelemetry bits compiling, and we can say, as an example, how can I inject the OpenTelemetry in the NGINX core container, right? So that's how I would set this as a goal, right? So having the OpenTelemetry sidecar as part of the compilation, and let's say some changes on the Helm chart that when I enable OpenTelemetry, it will download the OpenTelemetry sidecar and inject and say, okay, the NGINX Ingress controller container does have OpenTelemetry. So I would say this is the first delivery. Okay. And then the second one would be, let's say now we have an OpenTelemetry ready container, but that's a no op. We don't have any operation that can be dealt. So my second step would be, how can we migrate all of the directives that already exist for Zipkin and Jagger to OpenTelemetry? So instead of creating new annotations and creating new things, we just use what we have right now, but using the OpenTelemetry module, right? So this will be some Go effort. Awesome. Because this way we won't, let's say we are not kind of deprecating the feature itself. We are just saying your annotations will keep working, but we are now using OpenTelemetry module. We don't have Zipkin and Jagger module, Zipkin and OpenTracing. I just can't remember all of those, but on the NGINX container anymore, right? And then we can establish a path of like deprecating these annotations later and saying, okay, everything now is OpenTelemetry. So, but right now I will just split in two, right? The first one is making sure that the OpenTelemetry module can be injected into an Ingress controller image and not be used, but we know that it's there, right? And then the second one will be like, how can we establish a process of like, is OpenTelemetry enabled? Is the could the module be found or not before just configuring the template? And then are you using an annotation of Jagger? So let's configure OpenTelemetry using those things. Are you using Zipkin? Whatever. Okay.
Got it. Okay.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Perfect. Actually, this is very, very, very good.
I'm all about merging. If you folks can make it like OpenTelemetry sidecar container work, and even have some README on how can you inject the OpenTelemetry sidecar into the core Ingress NGINX, even not being used, I think it's fine to merge that. And it's going to be a no-op. We are just going to compile every time you compile NGINX, we are going to compile OpenTelemetry as well. And then we can add into some effort just to use that. And I'm really looking into that because I spent too much time trying to make OpenTelemetry work on NGINX and I couldn't. So if someone just brings me this ready, I would just start testing whatever the way I can.
So the beautiful thing that has happened with Ehsan coming in is that the compilation work, it works perfectly now. As in, we compile the module also and the libraries, and the Daniel, the other guy who put the PR on his laptop, I saw it working. So it's actually working for him. So it's a complete end-to-end working, as in it compiles, the modules load, and he can actually
Does, does that work in cloud build?
uh, no, he compiled locally. So I'm
Okay.
working with him to make those changes, which so that it compile it in cloud build. But yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. So the clear information is compilation on cloud build. Yeah, it's working. That is actually done with Ehsan's beautiful work about 2 weeks ago. So compilation is not a problem at all. So Daniel used that compilation also, and he did his own compilation, and he actually did the integration work, as in loading it. So it loads, and he actually pointed his Grafana at the endpoint, but he did it in a very, very non-standard way, as in he used his company's Grafana, and then the data source was all crazy. So I'm working on that part. So
Okay.
today, I think with the limited time we have, this was the beautiful part that you said we'll split the Go and all the annotation parts. So that I'll start working on with Daniel on that part.
Okay.
But if you want to, so just the takeaway is that compilation is working, enabling the module. These two things are working. So if you want to dive into it, Ricardo, now, Ehsan is on the chat. He can explain some things, especially not about just compilation, but compilation with and the integration and the decision or design you want to make for Jaeger and Zipkin.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. I will try to make some time next week to take a look into all of the threads. And I've seen that you've been actually answering over my thread that I've opened, right? So I will try to make some time on next week next week to take a look into that and make sure that at least I can, in some of my spare time, test it as well, right? So based on what you did, just test it and say, okay, I can make it, I can work from here right now.
So the answer to the question you asked a question, answer the question is Ehsan answered that Zipkin Jaeger modules are there already included. So if we deprecate from the current code base Zipkin and Jaeger, that is fine. And when we compile open telemetry, the way it's being compiled now, we can use the Jaeger and Zipkin that's included there. Ehsan, please correct me if I'm...
Yeah, and I just wanted to add that it's with this module, it's not possible to directly talk to Jaeger and Zipkin backend because we are using OTLP gRPC protocol. And the way to do to talk to Jaeger or Zipkin is that we have to deploy a collector and export the data to the collector, and then from there we can decide to send data wherever we want.
Okay, but there is no big worries on that, folks, because I expect with the survey as well that someone raises the hand saying, hey, I use Jaeger a lot, so don't deprecate it, or like, hey, no one actually cares about Jaeger, so just go to OpenTelemetry and deprecate everything, right? So we can work based on that right now and see how the survey goes. So make sure actually that you have a lot of people answering that survey as well, because we are going to start deprecating stuff based on that. And if we can just go directly to OpenTelemetry without compiling, I've seen that one of the problems was like compiling all of the gRPC stuff to make the Jaeger stuff work, and was like, yeah. So if you can just go with the pure approach of OpenTelemetry, for me it would be better, right? I just need to know if there are a lot of people around there using the Jaeger backend. Okay, but I will try to sync with you folks asynchronous as soon as I get some time next week. It's gonna be easier for me.
Okay.
And I promise next week I will take a look into all of the messages, because I could remove all of the things from my backlog from the past 3 weeks. Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Is there anything major that we need to discuss? Should we discuss the election ID? for 124, or do we just go to the action items and open topics?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So, Ricardo, what do you want to do about that K6 test thing?
I want to make sure that this is part of the stabilization process long. I think that one of the things that we need on the stabilization is to have some metrics on what we change if improves or decreases the performance, right? So I wanna look into that. If you can make some, I'm not sure if you are comfortable with that, but making some presentation about that on our next meeting and how it looks like. Like you told me that you already have some mock data on that and some GitHub actions that run. So if you have some space to do some 10 or 15 minutes presentation on that, I think that other people taking a look into that, not only me, but everybody in this meeting will see the value on that, and they may actually provide you some feedback on that, and we can get that merged fast, right? So
Everything's working, just waiting for Jintao to approve that. So the why I brought it up is now it's at a stage where we need to write the test that meets our requirement. So right now the test is more like very generic, few gets and
it's approved. Someone approved that.
It is approved.
Yeah.
8581.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just yeah, someone just need to add the looks good to me there.
Somebody approved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think was me. But I mean, it's fine. We added the token in the project, right, Long? So you sent me the token and I added there to make sure that this works on the GitHub actions. So I think merging this, it's fine. And we can always disable that. So yeah,
No,
just
you approved it. I brought it up because you approved it. But for some crazy reason, it's still saying changes requested or some one review. And so it's like it's
yeah, because someone needs to add the looks good to me.
Okay.
James is doing that right now. So now it's merging. It's gonna merge.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So when did we when do we do the perf tests? Is this on every pull request or on every merge domain?
No, it's manual, right?
Oh, it's manual. Okay.
Manual. Actually, I'll give you a link. Just open that. You can just temporarily we can look at what it looks like. So just if you can just go to github.com, github.com and my/longuyen.
On GitHub, yeah.
Can you drop it in the chat?
Yeah. Yeah, I put it in chat. No, James, the link is in the chat.
It's on Zoom chat.
Yeah, Zoom chat.
Yeah, this is it. What do we want to look at?
Just go to
That's we are just seeing your screen on the Ingress NGINX. I'm not sure if you are like with it open.
I'm not sharing.
Yeah.
Chrome's my default browser. Sorry. Let me just share my desktop. There we go.
Right, now go to actions and yeah, just click smoke test on the left hand side. No, on the left hand side. Go back. Yeah.
Nope.
Oops. No, go back one more time. Actions, all workflows. Something's wrong here. Click actions again. No, click actions again.
Probably just you can see long because it's your repo. Probably there is something that just you can see, right?
No. Just go back to smoke test. It's visible. And click smoke test on the left. Ah, damn. Okay. Sorry then.
Do you want to share your screen? You can share your screen. Show us.
Yeah, my screen.
There you go.
I think you need to add, yeah.
I did.
Can see.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to maximize that?
Oops.
I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay. If you go here, it looks like this.
I was looking for the results of the test.
Okay. But yeah, it's weird. You should also be able to see this, but I put a screenshot of this in the K6 PR. So if you look at the K6 PR, you should see the screenshot. But basically, it does this. Just a GitHub Action syntax. So it's like this button, and then you click this. Only then it will run.
Yeah, it's there now. Let's run the workflow on MAME. What's the K6 load test? What variable do we need there?
You can share your screen. I stopped sharing mine. No, that can be just left empty. Some tagging, just for tagging.
Okay, they don't really need anything.
Yeah.
All right.
And also, I sent you a link. Go to K6 and maybe log in. I sent you you have a login there. So we can see the graph if you want. If you
Okay.
want to speak. The K6 website. So this is, if you go to an old run, this is current run. If you go to an old run, you see, and go to K6 IO, I think maybe.
.io.
No, go. Yeah.
You have a login. Yeah.
So I just use my GitHub login.
Should be. I just check. I'm not sure. Like
Doesn't have one. That's fine.
Yeah.
just check mails from me. I sent you a mail. So
Okay. We'll let it run and we can look at it. Does it not show the results in the GitHub action?
it does. So if you look at, you can open a tab for a old run, and at the end, and in any case, at the end of this run, you will see as well. The graph is in the K6 website. They give us a free account, thankfully, because it's open source. Run K6 test, load test, yeah, that one. Further down. That is just each event, but this is the summary.
Okay. And this
So
is
right now,
just with a default Ingress install.
in tab you can open up under in the PR there's a test file JavaScript, simple get and put. The issue right now is that this runs on GitHub Actions, right? So the VM that's created for GitHub Actions events is 2 core 7 GB, and right now I'm not using the whole thing. So I start this talk right now, because if this is approved, then we can have to start writing. I mean, God Jintao has to help, and to tune these tests to use the entire 2 core and the 7 GB and for the Ingress use case, that is. So right now just get and put, just to a simple HTTP bin backend. So this is the CI. There's one more test file is in the test directory.
Oh, in the actual repo.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, sorry, it's not merged yet. So it will be in either my.
No, it's merged.
Yeah. Oh, it's merged. Nice. So this is the CI. No, go to test directory then. Go to test directory. Yeah, K6. Awesome. Awesome. It's merged. Nice. So if you go down, and this is what it looks like. But there's a go up. If you go up, there's a JavaScript file. It's the actual test.
Okay, awesome. So we just do some, okay.
Yeah. So this is what we need to tune right now to our needs and to use the entire, or we need to make a decision that we'll run a VM somewhere else selectively when we want with really beefy, VM, lots of CPU, lots of memory, and then really stress the thing out.
Yeah, so this is a good first step of just understanding where we're at. Yeah, no, that's good. It moves the needle. That's the main thing. We didn't have the data before. Now we can have a little bit more data, and we can start, like you said, fine tuning the testing.
Right.
Okay. And so this is actually really good from the stabilization perspective, because as we introduce all of these new changes,
yeah,
splitting things out, sidecars, removing things, we can at least test against it and know that we're not making too much of an impact.
right.
Awesome.
Just that is a critical piece. That test has to be tuned for our to use the maximum 2 core and 7 GB and as per, and so it's very generic right now. So that's a critical piece.
We probably want to open up an issue then and track that. But honestly, I think the 124-bit should probably be prioritized above that.
Right.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Do we have anything else we need to discuss, or should we just go into the open topics? Because it looks like
I would ask if you allow me 10 minutes earlier to drop, because I need to grab something to eat before the next meeting.
Oh, before the
SIG-Network.
Okay.
SIG-Network. Yeah. So do you mind, folks? I will just go.
I'll review these offline then.
Okay. See ya.
Okay, folks. Just remember, go through the issue lists of things that you know and add them to the stabilization project, because that's where we'll start reviewing everything from that project for the meetings going forward.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.